eternal, yet ever new. His advent and His proximity, His mystical leelas and His songs, every mischief and miracle a message memorable. Every pain and travail a precept enacted. As the bud blossomed to reveal 1,000 petals, it can only be said that the fragrance of the first few years was unique.
Swami made these journeys not only by going into a trance and leaving behind his body. Ramaraju, he was the municipal chairman at Bellary. Bellary is a district in Karnataka in the neighboring state. And he had a dream.
ప్రేమ స్వరూపులారా,
embodiments of love.
నేను ఉరవకొండలో ఉండగా
When Bhagavan was there in Uravakanda,
కార్పొరేషన్ కమిషనర్ అతను బళ్ళారిలో ఉన్నాడు.
the corporation commissioner at that time stayed in Ballari.
ఆయనకు ఒక రాత్రి స్వప్నం వచ్చి, నీవు పలాని నంబర్ పలాని ఇంటికి నీ వెళ్ళి అక్కడ సత్యాన్ని నీవు తీసుకుని రా అని ఎవరో చెప్పినట్టు అయిపోయింది.
That gentleman had a dream, where in the dream he was to go to a particular number of the house, meet Satya and bring him along with him.
అదే సమయంలో అతని అర్ధాంగి అయిన లక్ష్మీదేవి ఆమెకు కూడా నువ్వు స్వప్నంలో వచ్చి, అమ్మ మీరిద్దరూ వెళ్ళండి, వెళ్ళి ఆ సత్యాన్ని తీసుకుని రండి.
His wife Lakshmi Devi also had similar dream where it was indicated clearly, you also follow your husband and bring Satyam along with you both.
వారు వచ్చారు.
They came.
సత్యం అంటే ఎంతటి పెద్దవాడో ఎంతటి గొప్పవాడో అని అనుకున్నారు వాళ్ళు.
They thought Satyam must have been a very big man grown up or a very great person.
ఇప్పుడే నేను ఇంత అడుగులు 5 అడుగులు, ఆనాడు మరింత పొట్టి.
The present height Bhagwan, you know, in those days he was still short.
చిన్న నిక్కర వేసుకొని,
Wearing a small knicker
చొక్కా తొడుక్కొని,
and a shirt.
అప్పుడు 12 సంవత్సరం.
He was aged 12.
నేను బయట వచ్చాను.
Bhagwan came out.
చూసిన తక్షణమే ఆ కమిషనర్ భార్య ఇరువురు కూడాను స్వప్నంలో చూసింది ఇతనే అని చాలా ఆనందించి బజార్లో సాష్టాంగ నమస్కారం చేశారు.
The commissioner and his wife immediately identified Bhagavan there on the street and fell at his feet when Bhagavan was so young.
నేను అప్పుడు 2 పుస్తకాలు తీసుకొని కాలేజీకి ఒక స్కూలుకి పోతున్నాను.
Bhagavan was carrying 2 books to attend the school.
You can't invite, only the boy, so along with him it was extended even to Sheshamaraju. Told with your family you can come. Please, it's anyway vacation time, so do come. That is how Satyam and Sheshamaraju with a few others from Uravakonda, all of them travelled. They had a stopover at Hospet. That was where this photograph was taken. The municipal chairman at Hospet, he made Swami pose and he had this photo taken of Satyam. And after that, they took them to the Hampi Virupaksha temple. This is the entrance to the magnificent Virupaksha temple. It's a huge temple complex with a long history of its own. This is a view from the top of the hill. That is the main Gopuram here. And actually this Gopuram that you see here, this last one, that is the Gopuram where Virupaksha is. And
ఆ బళ్ళారి లోపల 3 దినములు వాళ్ళు ఇంటిలో పెట్టుకున్నారు.
Bhagavan stayed at the residence of the chairman of the corporation.
అక్కడ నుంచి చాలా
for 3 days.
సమీపంగా ఉంటున్నదని విరూపాక్ష దేవాలయం తీసుకెళ్లారు.
And Bhagavan was taken to Virupaksha temple, which happens to be very close to the house of the chairman.
అప్పుడు శేషమరాజు అతని ఇల్లాలు లోపలి వెళ్ళి మేము విరూపాక్షని దర్శించుకొని వస్తాము, నీవు ఈ సామాన్ దగ్గర ఉండు అన్నారు.
Seshamarazu and his wife wanted Bhagavan to take care of all their belongings outside as they would go into the temple to have the visit of the holy shrine.
సరే నేను ఇక్కడే ఉంటానని ఒప్పుకున్నాను.
Swami accepted their proposal.
వీరు ఇరువురు కూడాను దేవాలయంలో వెళ్ళారు.
Both husband and wife have gone into the temple.
అక్కడికి వెళితే గర్భగుడి లోపల నేనే అక్కడ నిల్చుకున్నట్టుగా కనిపించింది.
There both of them saw Bhagavan there in the sanctorum of the temple.
ఈ శేషమరాజుకు చాలా డౌట్స్.
Seshamarazu has so many doubts.
ఏం బయట కూర్చోమని చెప్తే వీడు ఇక్కడికి ఎందుకు వచ్చాడు?
How is it that I asked Satyam to stay outside the temple? How is it that I find him
తిరిగి బయటకు
inside
వచ్చి
the temple?
చూచాడు.
And he came out.
నేను అక్కడే కూర్చున్నాను.
There he saw Swami there.
మళ్ళీ లోపల పోయాడు, అక్కడ ఉన్నాను.
He went inside. There he saw Swami again.
కానీ ఇంకా ఆయన డౌట్స్ పోలేదు.
Still he was having doubts.
భార్యను బయట పోమన్నాడు.
He asked his wife to go outside.
నీవు అక్కడ సత్యం దగ్గర ఉండు,
You stay with Satyam there outside the temple.
సత్యాన్ని కదలనివ్వకుండా చేసుకో,
See that Satyam won't move. He will be there only.
నేను లోపల వెళతానని వెళ్ళాడు.
And he said,
అక్కడ కూడాను నవ్వుతూ నేను ఉండినాను.
and he has gone inside. There he found smiling Bhagavan there.
ఈ
There in
రెండు
the
కూడాను
sanctum sanctorum.
మాతోనే వచ్చినటువంటి యొక్క కమిషనర్ రాజు కూడాను చూస్తూ వచ్చాడు.
All this was noticed by the commissioner who accompanied them.
బయటకు వచ్చిన తర్వాత
After coming out,
శేషం రాజు చేతులు పట్టుకొని,
he caught hold of the hands of Seshamarazu.
రాజు మీరు చాలా పొరపడుతున్నారు.
He said, Razu, you are mistaken.
ఇతను మీ సోదరుడు కాదు,
He is not your brother.
కేవలము సామాన్యమైనటువంటి ఒక వ్యక్తి కాదు.
He is not an ordinary person.
నీవు ఈ వ్యక్తి భావంతో నువ్వు చాలా పొరపడుతున్నావు.
Because of his body relationship, you are mistaken.
ఇది పెద్ద డివైన్ పవర్ అన్నాడు.
This is the divine power, he said.
the Bellary municipal chairman, Ramaraju, he was in tears of joy because he felt that his life is sanctified. He felt that was the purpose of this dream. The dream that he got was in order to ensure that he has this beautiful experience of the darshan of the Virata Rupa of the Lord. And what else is this? Where he shows that he is present in everything, animate and inanimate.
So after this episode, Swami had to return back to Urukonda. School time, school was about to start. That is when they had to part. Now this Ramaraju, the municipal commissioner, he wanted to offer some gift to Swami. So he called Swami aside and he said, what can I give you? What will you accept from me? So he offered many things. He said, can I get you some clothes stitch? Swami said no. Maybe in his mind he had it in his mind that it's going to be of no use to me anymore.
రాజుకి ఏమి ఇవ్వాలి?
What is to be presented to Razu?
నేను ఏది పుచ్చుకోను అని చెప్పాడు.
Swami said then itself, I don't accept any.
4 షర్ట్స్ 4 నిక్కర్లు కుట్టిస్తానన్నాడు.
He said that he would get stitched for him 4 pairs, shirts and knickers.
4 కాదు, ఒక్కటి కూడా నేను పుచ్చుకోను అన్నాడు.
He said not 4, I don't accept even one.
చాలా ఇంక తొందర పెడితే మంచిది కాదని చెప్పి వాళ్ళ భార్య చెప్పింది. ఈనాటి పిల్లలందరూ కూడాను కాలర్కు ఒక పిన్ను వేసుకునేటువంటి వారు. అప్పుడు
As they didn't want to force Swami further, the wife said another plan. Children had collar pin in those days, a decorative piece.
కాలర్ పిన్ వేసుకుంటే చాలా గొప్పవాడు అని పిలిచేటువంటి వారు.
A collar pin is a matter of prestige in those days.
ఆయన చాలా వేగంగా వెళ్ళాడు. కాలర్ పిన్, బంగారు కాలర్ పిన్ తీసుకొచ్చాడు, నా కాలర్కి వేశాడు.
He went fast, got that golden collar pin and got
నేను
it stuck up.
ఎవ్వరి వస్తువులు కూడా ఏనాటికి నేను ముట్టను.
Bhagavan will not touch anybody's.
సరే, ఇక్కడికి వచ్చిన తర్వాత శేషంరాజు చెప్పాడు, ఆయన ఇచ్చినాడు, ఆయనకు అగౌరవం చేయకూడదు, నువ్వు కాలర్ పిన్ వేసుకో.
Sheshamrazu said, here is the chairman of corporation, a big man. Don't show any disrespect towards him. Accept it, he said.
When Swami comes back from Hampi, he comes running to their house and he shows very proudly to everybody, see this collar pin, see this collar pin. He goes to Anjanelu, collar pin bagunda. He comes to Narsimlu, collar pin bagunda, and everybody is like, yes Satyam, it's so beautiful, it's so nice on you. And Swami is so delighted. Swami said, see, collar pin. And one more thing which happens is when Swami comes back, this Anjanelu's wife gives birth to a small girl. And it's very significant because probably this little child was the first one to be named by Swami. Swami took this little infant in his hand and named her Sai Prabha. And Swami started telling, oh, you too have come into this Maya, have you? You have come into this Maya. Pony, let it go. That very momentous day, 20th of October, Swami comes into this Anjanelu household. This Anjanelu's house, as I said, he is an excise commissioner. So the backside of his house was his office. So he used to work from there. But that particular day when Swami walked in, he found a glow which was on Swami's face. He couldn't take his eyes off Swami. And he was wondering, what is this I'm seeing? I mean, Swami is always effulgent, but today there seems to be something very different and attractive about Swami. So Swami would say that Anjanelu actually accompanies the children to the school, drops them at school. Then later in the day, probably around 10:30 in the morning, Swami and these two little children, Narsimdas and Subaratnama, they are walking around in the playground when suddenly Swami says, oh God, I have lost my collar pin. They look at Swami's shirt, the collar pin is missing. So everybody starts searching frantically for the collar pin in the playground there. And Swami is asking, did anybody see? Look for it. Then they're searching for it and they suddenly look at Swami and they say, no, it is not to be found anywhere, Satyam. Satyam, we are not seeing it anywhere. And when they look up to Swami, Swami says, I am not Satyam, I am Baba. And they were surprised, what is this sudden thing Swami is telling? And it was not even a Thursday, because as they thought that only on Thursdays Sai Baba would come. But Swami said, I am not Satyam, I am Baba. But after that, the sequence of events becomes very, very interesting.
Satyam is upset that he has lost this collar pin. He goes straight and walks into the classroom where his brother is taking the Telugu class. He walks in and he says, the collar pin is gone, the collar pin is gone. And now Sheshamaraju looks and thinks, oh God, this is another thing, now it has started. So he says, you don't bother me, I'm in the middle of a class, don't you see? You go ask your sister-in-law. And the minute he is told to exit the class, a different thing Swami is speaking now. No longer is he saying that the collar pin is gone. What he's saying now is, Maya is gone. Maya is gone. Everything is Maya. Maya is gone. Everything is Maya.
హంపి నుండి వచ్చి స్కూల్కి అరుగుచ్చు బాబా కాలర్ పిన్ అక్కడ జారి కనపడలేదు.
Returning from Hampi, wearing the collar, while Baba was pushing
మార్పు
the school,
కలిగెను నాడు.
this pin dropped on its way, which is not seen.
ప్రాపంచిక సంబంధం పిన్ అయి తొలగే.
The whole worldly feeling is dropped like the pin.
ఈ ప్రాపంచిక సంబంధం అంతా ఒక పిన్నుతో సమానం నాకు.
The whole worldly feeling is like a pin after all.
అది తొలగిపోయింది.
It lost, it vanished.
భక్తుల బాధలను ఒప్పించే నిమిత్తమై నేను వెళ్ళాలి అన్నాను.
I must go to give relief to my devotees who are having umpteen sufferings.
అక్కడ నుంచి ఈ పుస్తకాలు అక్కడ పారవేశాను.
He thrown away the books.
అక్కడ ఎక్సైజ్ కమిషనర్ అని హనుమంతరావు అని ఉండేవాడు.
There was Commissioner Hanumantarao.
వారి తోటకు వెళ్ళాను.
Bhagwan went to their garden.
You know, this is often the picture that is depicted, which is actually historically wrong because Sheshamaraju Garu was not at home. It was only Sushilamma. So after making that correction, this is the actual picture where he threw his books and he said, I am not your Satyam. All this is Maya. Maya is left. I have to go because my devotees are calling me. A little detour here at this point because it's a very, very profound point. It is said that there are 4 stages of prayer. The first stage of prayer is when the devotee speaks and the Lord listens. This was the first stage of the prayer because devotees had called and the Lord had listened. The next stage of prayer is when the Lord speaks and the devotee listens. You know, Swami started that. It came via Sanatan Sati, it came via discourses. They say the next stage of prayer is when God and devotee both speak and both listen. We have seen that phase also. The interviews, and especially we see the last 10 years, the last decade. Thousands and thousands of people got the opportunity of personal interaction with Swami thanks to these programs that were put up in the mandir. It was that stage of prayer where we saw the devotee and the Lord speaking, the devotee and the Lord hearing, both. And they say the final and the ultimate stage of prayer is when neither speak, when neither the Lord nor the devotee speaks, and yet both listen. Swami has inspired us to go to that stage where speech becomes redundant. You need not speak. And yet we hear our Lord and the Lord hears us. It's just that some of us are still not ready to go to that. No, Swami, we want both to speak and both to listen. We don't want to communicate in silence. But as Swami says, if you don't understand my silence, where will you understand my words? As Swami threw his books that day, there was one more person who witnessed this scene. It was that Pandit Narayan Shastri who had been teaching the Hamsa Gita and who had felt that this chit of a boy is very audacious. But that day he had prostrated at the feet of Swami when he heard the Hamsa Gita from Swami. Today he did not need any Hamsa Gita. When he saw Satyam, he saw a kind of glow that he had never seen in his life. He realized that what he was witnessing was something special. Little did he know that he was witnessing the most historic moment of Kali Yuga, when the Lord had decided to respond to the prayers of his devotees. He didn't know what to do, and he did what his heart said, which is straight he went, and as Swami walked out of his house, prostrated on the road itself to Swami, and possibly this was the first official Pada Namaskar that he enjoyed.
శేషమరాజు వచ్చాడు.
Sheshamarazu came.
సత్య ఇంటికి పుదామరా అని చాలా బాధ పెట్టాడు.
Sheshamarazu forced him, Satya, let us go back, let's return home.
నేను రాను అన్నా.
I will not come.
ఎప్పుడూ నేను జవాబు చెప్పేటువంటి స్వభావం లేదు.
Bhagwan has no temperament to say no to
ఆ
anybody.
జవాబులు చెప్పుతుంటే అతనికే చాలా ఆశ్చర్యం వేసింది.
He was very much surprised to listen no from Bhagwan.
ఈ సత్యానికి ఇంత ధైర్యం ఎక్కడి నుంచి వచ్చింది?
How is that Satya is so courageous now?
నవ్వుతూ ఉంటుంటే నా ముఖం యొక్క తేజస్ అంతా కూడాను అతనికి చాలా కప్పిపెట్టుతున్నది.
With a smiling face, around the Bhagwan was seen the brilliance and the radiance which has mystified the brother.
And by now everyone could see the difference. This was not Satyam. This was the Lord. And as he walked into the garden, Anjaneyulu rushed.
ఆయన చాలా భక్తుడు.
He is an ardent devotee.
అయ్యో రాజు వచ్చాడని భార్యకు చెప్పి ఏమేమో తిండ్లంతా చేయించాడు.
Hanumantarao told his wife that Raju is coming to the garden, we should celebrate it. Got all
ఎవరిది
preparations.
ముట్టలేదు.
Bhagwan did not touch anybody.
ఏ పదార్థం కూడా ఎవరిది నేను ముట్టలేదు.
He did not touch any of the items brought there.
And as he walked into the garden, Anjaneyulu rushed and he removed his beloved Shirdi Baba idol. It had been placed on a rock, and that was the altar. He put a mat on that rock and said, please sit here. And that is where Swami sat, not for a few hours, but for almost a couple of days without food or water.
In 3 days passed like this, Swami was sitting on that mound. Needless to say, a telegram was sent to the parents. And for some reasons, the parents felt that this was not something which can be taken lightly. Of course, they had gone through a lot in the past few months, but somehow they felt that this was something which was very, very serious. So they immediately rushed. So by the time they came, it was about 3 days. And for those entire 3 days, Swami sat there on that mound meeting people. People would sing bhajans, Swami would sing bhajans, but he was sitting there. And even as he was sitting there one day, suddenly Swami said, Maya has come, Maya has come. And all of them looked behind and they found that Ishwaramma came running. Ishwaramma and the father, they came running, and Swami said, see, Maya has come. And she was heartbroken to see her child, because, it might have been a gain of the Lord for the rest of the world, but a mother has lost a child. A mother has lost a child forever, because she knew that no more can she see this child caress his hair and feel that he is mine. No more can she relish and enjoy that Pandhari dance which he would do. No more she could feel that pride in her heart when he would, reel out poetry which even the learned ones could not. Efforts to bring him back were still on. But on this day, as Swami would quote, Swami says beautifully, he says, Nenu sayini teliyumu nikkamugana. Mamata bayumu yatnamul manu konumu. I am Sai Baba. Understand this. This is the final truth. Give up all efforts to pull me back into Maya. Pase naku mitodi deha sambandham inka. There is no more attachment. There is no more bondage between you and me. Kadu nanpatta mari yetti ganunikaina. Whoever you bring, however great he may be, however reputed he may be, nobody can move me from this resolve, because this is the truth. Nenu sayini teliyuganamu. And this was that declaration which he made. Finally, the mother was, what would a mother do? Then Swami she asks, the first thing she does is, has my Satyam had any food? He's sitting here, has he had any food? When she knows that he has not had food for 3 days, she immediately rushes and starts preparing a meal for him. And Swami does not protest. So she is happy that at least Swami is ready to eat. Finally, she prepares the meal, she brings the food in front of Swami. And Swami takes the plate and Swami mixes all the food together. Swami makes a huge ball, makes 3 small balls, takes one ball, gives it to Ishwaramma. The mother accepts it and then puts out his hand. So Ishwaramma puts that ball back into Swami's hand. Swami eats it, and with each morsel, the way Swami eats it this way, Swami says, Maya has left me. Maya has left me. I am no more bound. I am no more bound by these attachments of this body. This was in fact the very same ritual which many of the sannyasis, when they leave their home and hearth, this is what they do. They take that last morsel of food from their mother and say that, no more I am your son, no more you are my mother, no more I am bound by the attachments of this body.
And it was on that 20th of October that Swami gave his first message to entire mankind as he sat on that boulder and sang the immortal bhajan, Manasa Bhajare Guru Charanam. Wouldn't it be so beautiful if all of us for the next 3-4 minutes just enjoy singing this bhajan and relive that beautiful day which is so significant in all our lives?
मानस भजरे गुरु चरणम दुस्तर भम सागर तरणम मानस भजरे गुरु चरणम दुस्तर भव सागर तरणम Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Shivaya Namah Om. Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Aruna Shiva. Baba Omkaram, Baba Omkaram, Baba ఓం నమో బాబా మానస భజనే గురుచరణం దుస్తర భవ సాగర తరణం మానస భజనే గురుచరణం దుస్తర భవ సాగర తరణం गुरु महाराज गुरु जय जय साईनाथ सद्गुरु जय जय गुरु महाराज गुरु जय जय साईनाथ सद्गुरु जय जय मानस भजने गुरुचरणं दुस्तर भव सागर तरणं मानस भजने गुरुचरणं दुस्तर भव सागर तरणं
Is that rock on which Swami sat and sang this beautiful bhajan. This is how it is today, with a beautiful marble idol of little Satyam. In front of him, the Shirdi Baba idol. Go to the rock and just touch it and relive this story. It brings back so much of love, peace into the heart. And when this mandir was inaugurated on the 23rd of November 2003, it was inaugurated actually in Prashanthi Nilayam. The stone was brought to Swami. Swami blessed it, and that is how that mandir came into being there. At that time, you know, all said and done, Mother Ishwaramma knew it is too late, nothing can be done. She said, Satyam, you may be Sai Baba for the world. Maya might have left you, Satyam, but it has not left me. And that was when Swami gave a promise. He said, Mother, in this avatar, the tree will grow where it has been planted. I promise you, Mother, I will be in Puttaparthi forever and ever and never let go of Puttaparthi.
అప్పటి నుంచి ఇంకా బెంగళూరు మైసూరు కార్లంతా చాలా రావటం ప్రారంభమైంది.
Since then, cars started reaching this place from Bangalore and Mysore.
కాపీపొడి సాకమ్మ అని ఉండేటువంటి వాడిని.
There is one person by name Kafi Pudi Sakamma.
ఈ రాణి గారు కూడా ఉండేటువంటి వాడు.
There's queen or two.
దేశరాజ్ అరసు అనేటువంటి వాడు కూడా ఉండేటువంటి వాడు. దేశరాజ్ అరసు.
Desharaj Ars.
మైసూరు మహారాజా మేనమామ.
And is the uncle of Mysore Maharaja.
వాళ్ళందరూ వచ్చారు. స్వామి, మేమందరూ ఇక్కడికి రావాలంటే చాలా కష్టంగా ఉంటున్నది, మీరే మైసూరుకి రండి, మేము ఒక ప్యాలెస్ అంతా ఇస్తాము అన్నారు.
All big people came from Mysore and Bangalore and said, Swami, we find it difficult to come to Puttaparthi.
నాకు
Come to
ప్యాలెస్ కాదు
Mysore.
ముఖ్యం.
I'll give palace. Swami said, palace is not important.
కనుక నేను ఇక్కడే ఉండాలన్నాను.
I decided to stay here.
ఆనాడు రాత్రి
That night.
ఈశ్వరమ్మ వచ్చి ఏడ్చింది.
That night, Ishwaramma came
స్వామి,
and cried.
ఎందరో వచ్చేసేసి కోరుతున్నారు.
Swami, many are coming and praying
వాళ్ళ స్వార్థం కోసమని
for their selfishness.
స్వామిని ఇక్కడ రండి అక్కడ రండి అని తీసుకొని పోతున్నారు.
They want you to go there and here and there.
మీరు పుట్టపర్తి వదిలితే నేను బ్రతకను.
If you leave Puttaparthi, I don't live any longer.
కనుక మీరు పుట్టపర్తిలోనే ఉండాలి.
You should definitely stay here.
నాకు మాట ఇవ్వండి అన్నది.
Swami, make a promise to me.
నేను ఇచ్చాను మాట.
Swami promised.
ఏనాటికైనా నేను పుట్టపర్తి వదలను అని ఇచ్చేసేసాను.
Swami gave a promise to Ishwaramma. Any day, I will never leave this Puttaparthi.
అందువల్లనే
For that
పుట్టపర్తినే నేను ఇక్కడ పెద్దదిగా భవనం కట్టి వచ్చే భక్తులకందరికీ అనుకూలాలు పరిచి తగినటువంటి సేవలు చేస్తూ వచ్చాను.
It is for that reason all these things are built, all these constructions are made for the comforts and the conveniences of the visiting devotees.
It is so beautiful that we are concluding this satsang on the note of this promise, because anytime when we feel that, Swami, we are not able to see you anymore, let us remember Swami's promise. Swami's promise is Trikal, it holds good for all 3 periods of time. Even to this day, it holds good when Swami says it will be my kshetra and you will see it happening. And when Swami says in his discourses, this is Puttaparthi is a big car workshop. When your batteries get drained, you need repairing. Come, get rejuvenated, recharged and go. Why should we think that it does not work today? Even to this day, that is what we have all come for. And I am sure all of us have experienced in our 1 day, 2 day stay here, how recharged and rejuvenated with love and devotion we have felt. Let us keep reconnecting with our dear Swami, and let us never forget his message that the only place that is fit for the mind to be is the lotus feet of the Lord. With that message, we would like to bring this beautiful story of Swami up till the declaration of avatarhood, the growth of little Satyanarayana Raju into Bhagwan Shri Satya Sai Baba.
With much love and gratitude to Swami for giving us this opportunity, we would like to express our gratitude to the organizers of this program, or Murli sir, Vijay Kumar sir and his entire team, and our heartfelt gratitude to all of you, because if not for all of you being here and encouraging us, we wouldn't have dwelled into this beautiful story of the Lord. And it is not out of place to thank you all from our bottom of our hearts. And a million times thanks to Swami. Our gratitude, our life is in gratitude to Swami for giving us this opportunity. We offer this humble effort of ours at Swami's lotus feet. Thank you. Jai Sai Ram.
साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्।
लम्बोदरा गणनाथ गजानन, लम्बोदरा गणनाथ गजानन, लम्बोदरा गणनाथ गजानन, लम्बोदरा गणनाथ गजानन, पार्वती नंदन शुभानना, पार्वती नंदन शुभानना, पार्वती नंदन शुभानना, पार्वती नंदन शुभानना, पशुपति तनया सिद्धि विनायक, पशुपति तनया सिद्धि विनायक, पशुपति तनया सिद्धि विनायक, शम्भो नन्दन
प्रणवाकारा शम्भो नन्दन
प्रणवाकारा शम्भो नन्दन
प्रणवाकारा शम्भो नन्दन
पतिपुरीशा पाहि गजानन
परदिपुरीशा पाहि गजानन
पतिपुरीशा पाहि गजानन
परदिपुरीशा पाहि गजानन
पार्वती नन्दन शुभानना
पार्वती नन्दन शुभानना
पार्वती नन्दन शुभानना
पार्वती नन्दन शुभानना
लम्बोदरा गणनाथ गजानन
लम्बोदरा गणनाथ गजानन
पार्वती नन्दन शुभानना
पार्वती नन्दन शुभानना
पशुपति तनया सिद्धिविनायक
पशुपति तनया सिद्धिविनायक
प्रणवाकारा शम्भो नन्दन
प्रणवाकारा शम्भो नन्दन
पतिपुरीशा पाहि गजानन
परदिपुरीशा पाहि गजानन
पार्वती नन्दन शुभानना
पार्वती नन्दन शुभानना
पार्वती नन्दन शुभानना
पार्वती नन्दन शुभानना
लम्बोदरा गणनाथ गजानन गुरुदेवाय नमो नमो
गुरुदेवाय नमो नमो
गुरुदेवाय नमो नमो
गुरुदेवाय नमो नमो
हे परमेश्वर नमो नमो
हे परमेश्वर नमो नमो
हे परमेश्वर नमो नमो
हे परमेश्वर नमो नमो
गुरुदेवाय नमो नमो
गुरुदेवाय नमो नमो
ओंकाराय नमो नमो
ओंकाराय नमो नमो
ओंकाराय नमो नमो
ओंकाराय नमो नमो
पर्तिपुरीश्वर नमो नमो
पर्तिपुरीश्वर नमो नमो
पर्तिपुरीश्वर नमो नमो
पर्तिपुरीश्वर नमो नमो
जगदीश्वराय नमो नमो
जगदीश्वराय नमो नमो
जगदीश्वराय नमो नमो
जगदीश्वराय नमो नमो
प्रशान्तीश्वर नमो नमो
प्रशान्तीश्वर नमो नमो
प्रशान्तीश्वर नमो नमो
प्रशान्तीश्वर नमो नमो
गुरुदेवाय नमो नमो
गुरुदेवाय नमो नमो
हे परमेश्वर नमो नमो
हे परमेश्वर नमो नमो
गुरुदेवाय नमो नमो
गुरुदेवाय नमो नमो
ओंकाराय नमो नमो
ओंकाराय नमो नमो
पर्तिपुरीश्वर नमो नमो
भक्तिपुरीश्वर नमो नमो
जगदीश्वराय नमो नमो
जगदीश्वराय नमो नमो
प्रशान्तीश्वर नमो नमो
प्रशान्तीश्वर नमो नमो
प्रशान्तीश्वर नमो नमो
प्रशान्तीश्वर नमो नमो
गुरुदेवाय नमो नमो अयोध्या विहारी श्रीराम राम राम
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 द्वारका विहारी श्री कृष्ण कृष्ण कृष्ण
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 सप्तगिरि विहारी गोविन्द गोविन्द
सप्तगिरि विहारी गोविन्द गोविन्द
सप्तगिरि विहारी गोविन्द गोविन्द
सप्तगिरि विहारी गोविन्द गोविन्द
निज भक्त हृदय विहारी श्री साईनाथ देवा
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 अयोध्या विहारी श्री राम राम राम
अयोध्या विहारी श्री राम राम राम
द्वारका विहारी श्री कृष्ण कृष्ण कृष्ण
द्वारका
साईनाथ देवा
निज भक्त हृदय विहारी श्री साईनाथ देवा
निज भक्त हृदय विहारी श्री साईनाथ देवा
निज भक्त हृदय विहारी श्री साईनाथ देवा
अयोध्या विहारी श्री राम राम राम
साई पिता रे माता साई
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 दीन दयाला दाता साई
दीन दयाला दाता साई
दीन दयाला दाता साई
दीन दयाला दाता साई
साई पिता रे माता साई
साई पिता रे माता साई
साई गुरु साई सखा सहोदर
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 साई सत्य शिव साई सुंदर
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 वेद उपनिषद गीता साई
वेद उपनिषद गीता साई
वेद उपनिषद गीता साई
वेद उपनिषद गीता साई
दीन दयाला दाता साई
दीन दयाला दाता साई
दीन दयाला दाता साई
दीन दयाला दाता साई
साई पिता रे माता साई
साई पिता रे माता साई
दीन दयाला दाता साई
दीन दयाला दाता साई
साई पिता रे माता साई
साई पिता रे माता
सिद्धिरूपाय योगेश्वराय नमो
कालातीताय सिद्धिरूपाय योगेश्वराय नमो
कालातीताय सिद्धिरूपाय योगेश्वराय नमो
कालातीताय सिद्धिरूपाय योगेश्वराय नमो
जगदिताय विश्वरूपाय
विश्वरूपाय
जगदिताय विश्वरूपाय
विश्वरूपाय
साईश्वराय नमो
साईश्वराय नमो
सत्य साईश्वराय नमो
साईश्वराय नमो
ॐ नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमो
नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमो
ॐ नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमो
नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमो
ॐ नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमो
नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमो
ॐ नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमो
नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमो
ॐ नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमो
नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमो
ॐ नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमो
नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमो
कालातीताय सिद्धिरूपाय योगेश्वराय नमो
कालातीताय सिद्धिरूपाय योगेश्वराय
जगदिताय विश्वरूपाय
जगदिताय विश्वरूपाय
साईश्वराय नमो
साईश्वराय नमो
ॐ नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमो
नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमो
ॐ नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमो
नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमो
ॐ नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमो
नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमो
ॐ नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमो
नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमो
ॐ नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमो
नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमो
ॐ नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमो
नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमो
कालातीताय सिद्धिरूपाय योगीश्वराय नमो
महादेवा महेश्वरा साई नारायणा
देवा महेश्वरा साई नारायणा
महादेवा महेश्वरा साई नारायणा
देवा महेश्वरा साई नारायणा
नटनागरा दुःखभञ्जना साई नारायणा
नटनागरा दुःखभञ्जना साई नारायणा
नटनागरा दुःखभञ्जना साई नारायण
नटनागरा दुःखभञ्जना साई नारायण
करुणाकरा अखिलेश्वरा साई नारायण
करुणाकरा अखिलेश्वरा साई नारायण
करुणाकरा अखिलेश्वरा साई नारायण
करुणाकरा अखिलेश्वरा साई नारायण
अल्लाह तुम महावीर येशु 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 साई नारायण
हृदयेश्वरा परमेश्वरा साई नारायण
हृदयेश्वरा परमेश्वरा साई नारायण
हृदयेश्वरा परमेश्वरा साई नारायण
हृदयेश्वरा परमेश्वरा साई नारायण
महादेवा महेश्वरा साई नारायण
महादेवा महेश्वरा साई नारायण
नटनागरा दुःखभञ्जना साई नारायण
नटनागरा दुःखभञ्जना साई नारायण
करुणाकरा अखिलेश्वरा साई नारायण
करुणाकरा अखिलेश्वरा साई नारायण
अल्लाह तुम महावीर येशु साई नारायण
अल्लाह तुम महावीर येशु साई नारायण
हृदयेश्वरा परमेश्वरा साई नारायण
हृदयेश्वरा परमेश्वरा साई नारायण
हृदयेश्वरा परमेश्वरा साई नारायण
हृदयेश्वरा परमेश्वरा साई नारायण
महादेवा महेश्वरा साई नारायण साईनाथ भगवान साईनाथ भगवान
साईनाथ भगवान
भगवान्
सत्यं शिवं सुन्दरं साईनाथ भगवान्
सत्यं शिवं सुन्दरं साईनाथ भगवान्
सत्यं शिवं सुन्दरं साईनाथ भगवान्
साईनाथ भगवान् साईनाथ भगवान्
साईनाथ भगवान् साईनाथ भगवान्
बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि
बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि
बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि
बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि
धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि
धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि
धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि
धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि
संघं शरणं गच्छामि
संघं शरणं गच्छामि
संघं शरणं गच्छामि
संघं शरणं गच्छामि
सत्यसाईश शरणं गच्छामि
सत्यसाईश शरणं गच्छामि
सत्यसाईश शरणं गच्छामि
सत्यसाईश शरणं गच्छामि
साईनाथ भगवान् साईनाथ भगवान्
साईनाथ भगवान् साईनाथ भगवान्
सत्यं शिवं सुन्दरं साईनाथ भगवान्
सत्यं शिवं सुन्दरं साईनाथ भगवान्
साईनाथ भगवान् साईनाथ भगवान्
साईनाथ भगवान् साईनाथ भगवान्
बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि
बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि
धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि
धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि
संघं शरणं गच्छामि
संघं शरणं गच्छामि
सत्यसाईश शरणं गच्छामि
सत्यसाईश शरणं गच्छामि
सत्यसाईश शरणं गच्छामि
सत्यसाईश शरणं गच्छामि
साईनाथ भगवान् साईनाथ भगवान् नमः पार्वती पतये हर हर
पार्वती पतये हर हर
नमः पार्वती पतये हर हर
पार्वती पतये हर हर
हर हर शंकर महादेवा
हर हर शंकर महादेवा
हर हर शंकर महादेवा
हर हर शंकर महादेवा
हर 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 महादेवा
शिव 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 सदा शिवा
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 महादेवा सदा शिवा
महादेवा सदा शिवा
सदा शिवा महादेवा
सदा शिवा महादेवा
सदाशिवा महादेवा
सदाशिवा महादेवा
नमः पार्वती पतये हर हर
मानस भजरे गुरु चरणम दुस्तर भ्रम सागर तरणम मानस भजरे गुरु चरणम दुस्तर भव सागर तरणम भजरे गुरु चरणम दुस्तर भव सागर तरणम ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमः अरुण शिवो अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल शिव अरुण शिवो Baba Omkaram, Baba Omkaram, Baba Om Namo Baba. Manas bhajane Guru Charanam, Dustar Bhava Sagar Taranam. भजरे गुरु चरणम दुस्तर भव सागर तरणम गुरु महाराज गुरु जय जय साईनाथ सद्गुरु जय जय महाराज गुरु जय जय साईनाथ सद्गुरु जय जय मानस भजरे गुरु चरणम दुस्तर भव सागर तरणम
Om Shri Sai Ram, offering our loving pranams at the divine lotus feet of our most beloved Swami. I'm sure most of you would have read Satyam Shivam Sundaram Part 1, the biography of Swami's life that documents the formative years of his life as the young Satyanarayan Raju. There are a series of events which occurred prior to him declaring his avatarhood on this very day in the year 1940. Just prior to this particular day, Swami had visited the very beautiful Virupaksha temple in Hampi in Karnataka with his brother Sri Seshamaraju and several others. And there the municipal commissioner of Hampi had presented a golden collar pin to Swami as a token of his appreciation and gratitude. And Swami had put that collar pin on his uniform and had gone to school on this particular day. But on the way to school, he lost the collar pin. And there is a very beautiful poem where Swami narrates, and I would encourage you to read the discourse given on 20th of October 1990, the Golden Jubilee of Avatar Declaration. Today is the 80th year. So in the Golden Jubilee discourse, Swami describes and narrates that poem which he had composed, which symbolized that the loss of the golden collar pin was actually the severance of the worldly ties, and it was the giving up of Maya or the attachment for the several worldly ties. Swami came back on his way from his way to school through his books and told his sister-in-law that I am no longer your Satya. My devotees are waiting for me and my work is calling me. There is a very nice depiction of this entire episode in the Chaitanya Jyoti Museum at Prasanthi Nilayam. And Swami's sister-in-law was able to see a halo around Swami that day. She was so overwhelmed that she could not stop him. And he left the house and went to the courtyard of the excise inspector Anjaneyalu, who used to stay a few blocks away in Uravakonda from Swami's brother's home. And there in the courtyard, Swami sat near a rock and several people gathered there. And on that historic occasion, he taught them that very famous bhajan, Manasa Bhajare Guru Charanam, Dustara Bhavasagar Taranam. In my talk today, I'm trying to capture two parts of this historic day. One is the day itself. Why is this day important? What is it that the Avatar Declaration Day has to teach with us? Because there is no episode in Swami's life which does not have a spiritual message for us. So what is the spiritual message of the Avatar Declaration Day? Is it that on this particular day, Swami actually realized that he was an avatar? No, definitely not. Does it mean that his avataric work began on that day? No. The avatars resolve on their life's mission and commence it the day they decide that they will be born. Swami had said on several occasions, I chose the parents, I chose the place that I will be born in order to accomplish the avataric task for this lifetime. We see in the Bhagavatam how Lord Mahavishnu says, he tells the Devas that I have willed to be born as the son of Dasharatha and Kaushalya and annihilate the demons who are disrupting the peace and dharmic activities on earth. We also see in the Bhagavatam how Lord Krishna assuages the plea of Mother Earth, who has gone to pray to him that please redeem her of all the negativities in the form of the negative tendencies, the asuras that have increased on earth manifold. And Krishna says, yes, I have vowed to be born as the son of Devaki and Vasudeva. And if we have read the Bhagavatam, we see a series of events before the birth of Lord Krishna. So the avataric karya or the avataric tasks begin the day the Paratattva decides to come into this world in human form. Then why is the Avatar Declaration Day unique in Swami's case? I believe it is unique because the day marks a transition from Swami's commitment and belongingness to his worldly family to a transition where he regarded the world itself as his family. while celebrating this day, we too should be able to make this transition, should be able to make this change in priority in our life. How many 14-year-olds can think of contributing to the well-being of all humanity? Swami had said at that time that his work is calling him. What was his work? To give Ananda to all mankind. Even at the age of 40, 50, 60, are we able to prioritize the well-being of humanity over our selfish requirements? Instead, we pray to the same avatar who dedicated his life for the well-being of humanity from the age of 14 for our own petty requirements. Daughter's marriage, son's job, grandchildren's education, the list is endless. Our prayers usually surround this. We do contribute to humanity. The Satya Sai Seva organization is a brilliant platform, and 4 hours a week is the least that we are expected to. But can we make this commitment to human welfare as a conscious priority in our thought, word, and deed, like our master did? I think the Avatar Declaration Day is an opportunity to reflect on that. I've done a rough calculation and have found that in his physical lifetime, Swami would have given 1 lakh interviews. Prashanti Nilayam, Brindavan, Kodaikanal, several places, Sundaram, Shivam, Dharmakshetra, all of them. And about 20 lakh people Swami would have interacted one-on-one during these occasions. But by and large, most of the conversations were focused on those who came to him seeking solace and succor for the body and its duties, responsibilities, and relationships. Swami would often say, I give you what you want, so that eventually you will want what I have come to give, liberation itself. But probably that desire to know the secret of liberation has not been a priority for most of us. And that is the reason why till the very last decade, Swami would say, Vetukutunnanu, Vetukutunnanu, I'm still searching for a devotee who wants what I have come to give, a true, a genuine devotee. Let me share an example, an experience which communicates what Swami's expectations were from all of us. This goes back to the early 1990s. Professor Sampath, a former director of the Indian Institute of Technology, was the Vice Chancellor of the Sri Satya Sai Institute of Higher Learning. During his tenure, on a particular occasion, Swami was very upset with the students. So when Swami used to pretend to be upset, Swami had often said that I cannot get upset, I pretend to be upset so that you learn a lesson from what I want to communicate to you while being upset. And on that particular occasion, Swami was upset for a long time. Students were pleading in different ways and Swami was just not giving in. So the Vice Chancellor, a very nice, warm-hearted gentleman, he approached Swami on behalf of the students and said, Swami, please forgive the students. They love you so much. After all, this is the age and stage in life where you tend to make mistakes and sometimes you don't abide by the discipline. So as a Vice Chancellor and as their teacher, I request you to please forgive them. Swami said in this very important conversation between the Chancellor and the Vice Chancellor about the well-being of their students, Swami said, Sampath, do you know why I am angry with the boys? So Professor Sampath nodded his head in negation and kept quiet. Swami said, I am angry with the boys because they are not able to understand the expectations I have from them. Then Swami asked another question. Do you know what expectations I have from the students? So Professor Sampath again nodded his head. Swami said, with great assertion and anticipation in his eyes, he said, I want each one of my students to be like, he pointed to himself. Being like me does not mean wearing an orange robe and having a black mop of hair. Being like me means being selfless from top to toe, with only priority being well-being and love for all humanity, all creation. Instead of cultivating that attitude, instead of developing that mindset, instead of making the most of this opportunity of being in my presence, they are frittering away this opportunity in trivial pursuits instead of making the most of this rarest of the rare opportunities that has come their way. That is why I'm angry with them. What a profound communication of what Swami's expectations are from us. When Swami says, my life is my message, what does he mean? He just doesn't mean to say that as a slogan, my life is my message. He means that his life is his message. As much as he has communicated through nearly 5,000 discourses, is important to see what he has done through those 85 years of his life and how he has set an example for us in every aspect of life. And then we don't just need to know, we also need to be like him, especially those of us whom he has chosen as his students, as his devotees. Another example of Swami's selflessness. This was once when Swami was going in a car. As he was getting into the car, a particular Sevadal was on duty. This was one of his first opportunities, and he was extremely excited to have the opportunity of closing the door of Swami's car. And in his excitement, as Swami sat in the car, the Sevadal did not see whether Swami had fully put his foot inside the car. So even before Swami's foot was fully inside the car, the Sevadal closed the door, and the little finger of Swami's foot got stuck in the door. The car moved ahead, it came out, came onto the main road, and then Swami told the driver, wait. The driver said, what happened, Swami? Swami opened the door, and that's when the driver realized that all that while Swami's small toe was stuck in the door. The driver was shocked. He said, Swami, why didn't you tell me earlier? I would have stopped the car immediately. In fact, he was very angry at the Sevadal who had pushed the door and Swami's foot had come, that tiny finger had come in the door, had got jammed in the door. So Swami said, Bangaru, if I would have told you or shouted at that point in time or even opened the door to take my foot inside again, that particular Sevadal would have felt so hurt that in that one opportunity that he got in serving me, instead of serving me, he hurt me physically. And that experience would have gnawed at him. It would have remained his anguish for all his life. I could not do that to him because he had so much of love in his heart for me. That is why I bore this pain, so that his love for me and his satisfaction of serving me by closing that door will remain with him forever. He will not know of this. So why I'm telling you this example is when Swami says selfless from top to toe, he shows that by example in the smallest of things. It's not about the construction of the hospitals and the water projects and the universities and the schools and this massive seva organization, which no doubt is quite without a parallel. But it is about these small humane things that we can learn from Swami in his life. What is the message? Forgive and forget. What? Swami used to say, forget all the harm that others have done to you. That will help you cultivate the virtue of forgiveness. And forget all the good that you have done to others. That will help you cultivate the virtue of humility. Two important things to forget. But these are the things we always remember. The harm that others have done to us and the good that we have done to others. Because we want to take revenge and we want to be claiming credit. Swami's formula was reversed, and this was very evident in his life. And then Swami had said two things to remember all the time. He used to say, remember all the harm that you have done to others. That will cultivate the virtue of repentance. And remember all the good that others have done to you, because that will cultivate the virtue of gratitude. These are the two things we often tend to forget. The harm that we have done to others is often justified. He deserves it. She deserves it. And the good that others have done to you is also always forgotten. We think it's our right to get what we got. So in both these scenarios, we have a very important lesson from Swami's life. Two things to forget, two things to remember, and how Swami has shown in his own life how he wants us to be, what he wants us to be. So this, I think, is a very important significance of the Avatar Declaration Day that we need to remember. What is the message that Swami gave on that particular day? The message is the bhajan, Manas Bhajare Guru Charanam, Dustara Bhavasagar Taranam. We sing this bhaja with great fervor, but we fail to understand its deep spiritual significance and the message that Swami has shared in several occasions. In fact, the secret of this bhajan lies in reversing the order of the words. What is the order of the words? Manasa bhajare Guru Charanam, Dustara Bhavasagar Taranam. Swami said, go in the reverse order. First, realize that you are in a Bhavasagara. You have to realize and have that desire. First, you have to have that clarity, that realization that I'm in Bhavasagara. That I am leading through these series of lifetimes. According to our scriptures, hundreds, thousands, lakhs of these lifetimes. And through several yonis and gatis, as per the Sanatana Dharma, 84 lakh species, of which man is the crest jewel of creation. In fact, in the Viveka Chudamani, Sri Adi Shankaracharya says that it is only as a merit of 1 crore well-lived lives does one ultimately achieve self-realization. 1 crore well-lived lives. This is what Sri Adi Shankaracharya says. So it's verily that it's like a Bhavasagara with crores and crores of waves. Similarly is our journey of so many lifetimes. So first we have to realize in this. If we are happy the way we are, if we are happy going through lakhs and lakhs and lakhs of lives, that's okay. But if we want to be coming out of it, then Swami says the second part is you have to resolve on Taranam. Why Taranam? Why do you want to cross this? Often if we talk about moksha or liberation or self-realization to people, they said, no, I don't want moksha and all that. I am very happy. Why do I need moksha? But then Swami says, if you ask the same set of people, do you want dukkha nivrutti, means cessation of all sufferings? Do you want ananda prapti, gaining of supreme joy? Then everybody will say yes. Swami says that's exactly the objective of moksha. Permanent dukkha nivrutti, permanent ananda prapti. But for that you have to resolve on Taranam. In the same Viveka Chudamani, Sri Adi Shankaracharya had said, Durlabham trayame vaitat devanugraha hetukam manushyattam mumukshattam mahapurusha samshaya. There are 3 things which are possible with great difficulty you get only by God's grace. Manushyatvam, mumukshatvam, mahapurusha samshaya. Human birth, desire for a higher life, and the proximity of a great human being, Mahapurusha. How blessed we are that we have all these 3. Manushyatvam, mumukshatram and Avatar Purusha samshaya. So we have to resolve, having gained from these 3 greatest blessings from God, that we want to cross this Bhavasagara. Now Sri Adi Shankaracharya has said that it takes 1 crore lifetimes to achieve self-realization. But Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, just a century ago, in one of his very famous conversations in the Gospel of Ramakrishna, he had said that you can have the divine experience within 3 days. You don't need to wait for long, just 3 days. How? If you have the love that a mother has for a newborn child, if you have the love that a newlywed bride and bridegroom have for each other, and if you have the love which a miser has for money, and combine all these 3 forms of love and direct that yearning for God and God alone for 3 consecutive days, I guarantee you that you will have that experience. Probably it may take 1 crore lifetimes to get that kind of yearning. But just like the sunlight, when it is channelized through a particular lens and targeted towards the paper catches fire instantly. But if that lens is not there, if the channelization of sun rays does not happen, it's one of the experiments we do in physics in school. then that sunlight may fall on paper forever and more. It is not going to catch fire. So it's the rigor of this particular yearning that's what matters, and that is why Taranam, the desire for resolve for Taranam, is very important. Then comes the third part. Swami says, after that you have to reach out to Guru Charanam. The moment you decide, realize that you're in a Bhavasagara, the moment you resolve on Taranam, then you will automatically reach the Guru. It is said that those who choose God are the ones who are actually chosen by God. When we realize and resolve, we will automatically be led to the Guru who will show us the path. I think that is true for all of us, and that's why we are here in Swami's fold and a recipient of his grace, blessings and his message. But the Guru will show only the path. He will only highlight our weaknesses and suggest improvements. We have to walk the path. The Guru will not walk the path. The avatar will not walk the path. The classic example is the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna took upon the responsibility to be the charioteer of Arjuna, and he was only guiding him. Arjuna had to follow that guidance and actually win the war, Dharma Kshetre, Kurukshetre, the one which was fought, which was the war of Dharma and Adharma on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, the very first two words of the Bhagavad Gita. So the job of the avatar is to only guide us, and he will prepare us through a series of tests. And here there's a very nice Chinnakatha which I'd like to share, which Swami had narrated in 1995 in October in one of the discourses. There was this particular disciple who came to a guru and said that I want to have your guidance on attaining self-realization. So the guru gave him some spiritual guidance and said, you practice this for an entire year and come back to me. After you have practiced this for an entire year, when you come back to me, I will be able to take you to the next level. So the disciple went home, practiced for a year, and said and realized that now he's ready for coming to the Guru and getting his message for self-realization. And he had bath that day and came and sat there in the Guru's ashram. And while he was sitting, the maid servant who was cleaning the, or not the maid servant, actually a volunteer who was cleaning the grounds of the ashram, involuntary dust fell from the broom onto this man's clothes. And he was so angry, he looked at her with great anger and he was almost hissing with rage. But then he didn't do anything because it was the Guru's ashram. And the Guru saw this happening. And then when this man went to the Guru, he said, Sir, Guruji, I am ready for receiving the Brahma Tattva message from you. The Guru said, but I don't think you are ready. You still have the anger of a snake. You are hissing with revenge. This is not the prerequisite in order to attain Brahma Tattvam. So go back and practice for one more year what I have told you and come back again after a year to get the message. So this disciple went back, practiced for an entire year with great fervor and came back a year later. This time again he had bath and with all the auspicious clothes came and sat there. The Guru had told this volunteer in advance that this man is going to come. When you see him there, last time inadvertently the dust fell on his clothes. This time you purposely go and throw a lot of dust onto him while you're cleaning the grounds of the ashram. So this lady said last time he was so angry with him, this time he will beat me up. The Guru said, no, he won't beat you up. Don't worry, just do as I say. So this man was sitting there. This lady came and she threw all the dust on this man's clothes. And this man was so angry, he could not curtail his anger. He got up and was about to beat this lady. He shouted at her and he was almost going to beat her up. And the Guru saw this. So when the man went back, he somehow controlled himself, went back to the Guru. The Guru said, and he said, Guruji, I am ready for the message. He said, not yet. You still have the tendencies of the dog. You're barking. You're about to attack people. You are not yet ready. Go back one more year. 1 more year he practiced, 1 more year he did sadhana as the Guru had suggested and came back. And this time when he came back, again bath, auspicious clothes sat there. The Guru had told this lady volunteer that when you see this man, you pour dirty water onto him. Dirty water onto him. So this lady said that, Guruji, I have been spared 2 times, this time I'll definitely get beaten up. The Guru said, no, nothing will happen to you. I take the responsibility. So when this man was sitting there, this lady took and poured dirty water onto this man. And this man, and fearing the worst, this lady was like, she closed her eyes thinking this man will just blow up. This man stood up with folded hands and told that lady, Mother, I'm extremely grateful to you for teaching me the virtue of patience and tolerance, for helping me control my anger and vengeance. You have been a great help in my spiritual journey. Please accept my namaskarams. He bowed down to the lady and then went to the Guruji and said that, please give me the guidance. And the Guru said, yes. Now you have given up the vengeance or revengefulness of a snake. You have given up the anger of a dog. You have even given up the identity with the body. Now you are a befitting candidate to get the supreme message. So the whole objective of getting the Guru's proximity is so that we get his guidance. He will guide. He will test. I remember this is also the occasion of Dasara. In 1962, in the occasion of Navaratri, Vijayadashmi Day, Swami had announced that I am very soon starting the Sri Satyasai Seva organizations, and it will give you an opportunity to serve humanity as sadhana for your own spiritual emancipation. If you participate in the activities of the organization with your heart and soul, not only you but several generations of your family will get the ultimate spiritual fulfillment. However, there will be lot of tests. I will test you at every step. You will have to clear those tests in order to be able to benefit from that supreme spiritual fulfillment. So the Guru does all of that. Why? So that finally we revere his feet. We hold on to his feet. The last part of the story and the first words of the bhajan, bhajare, manasa bhajare, with our mind, with our memories, with smaranam, with shravanam, with drishti, we are constantly having the Guru's feet in our memory, in our priority. And that also means that not only revering the feet does not mean with rituals, ashtotaram and flower and gandham and pushpam and all the agarbat, all of that. No, that is one part of it if possible. Some usually is to encourage mental prayers, mental puja. But reflecting on his feet, revering his feet means walking the path that he has shown. Following his footsteps is the real way in which we can offer homage to his feet. I'll conclude with an experience that Swami had, which one of my seniors had shared with me. Swami had given an interview to a few research scholars in the Prashanti Nilayam interview room. And there in the course of the conversation, Swami was talking to them and he asked them, what is the rarest of thing in this world? So everybody gave different answers. Typically if we are asked that question, typically we would say moksha, self-realization, whatever. So most of those answers were around those two themes. And after everybody had answered, Swami said, no, moksha or self-realization is not the rarest of things. Because everybody will ultimately get moksha or self-realization. It is a matter of time and effort. As Sri Adi Shankaracharya said, 1 crore lifetimes. Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa said 3 intense days of yearning. So it is a matter of time. Even the ant will reach the Atma. The rarest of the things is to be the contemporary of the avatar when he comes into this physical world. Still rarer is to know of his divine identity. In Rama's years, only dozen rishis knew about his divinity. In Krishna's times, Few more Gopikas, Gopalas, and the near and dear ones whom Krishna had given an experience knew of his divinity. But in the Sai incarnation, both as Shirdi and Satya Sai, we've had thousands and lakhs of individuals who have had the experience of their divinity through personal, tangible, intangible form. So we have those experiences to enable us to know that he is who he is. Then Swami said, rarer still is to be chosen by him to be a part of his mission. And the rarest is giving your time, energy, resources in life in order to participate in that mission and help achieve the mission for which the avatar has come. This opportunity comes to a very small, minuscule number of people, and that is the rarest of the rare opportunities, Swami said. If we analyze today, there are 700 to 800 crore human beings on this earth. How many are aware of Swami's divinity and message? How many of them were contemporaries of his? How many of them are interested in participating in the mission? And finally, the 6 lakh of us who are active workers in the organization, how many of us are willing to make our time, energy, resources, and life itself available for the sake of achieving the mission for which Swami had come? So I'll conclude my talk by reaffirming the 4 R's which form the core of the Avatar Declaration Day message. What are they? First, realize that we are in a Bhavasagara. Second, resolve that we want to cross this ocean of life and death and move and achieve our ultimate destination. Third, reach the Guru. Fourth, revere his feet by following his path and participate wholeheartedly in the mission for which he has incarnated on earth. On this Avatar Declaration Day, let us take a resolve that we will all progress on all these 4 R's. Most of us have progressed on the first, second, and third, and now we have to ensure that we do the 4th one with all our heart and soul. And let us pray to Swami that he gives us his grace, his blessings, and his special anugraha to be his befitting instruments and give our very best in the accomplishment of the mission, which is Atmano Mokshartham Jagat Hitaya Cha, as the motto of our organization is transforming self to transform the world. It's actually synonymous to the Vedic dictum Atmano Mokshartham Jagat Hitaya Cha. Let's be fully committed to it and progress and achieve. Thank you so much. Jai Sai Ram.
ओम जय जगदीश हरे स्वामी सत्य साई हरे भक्त जना संरक्षक भक्त जना संरक्षक पति महेश्वरा ओम जय जगदीश सर्वा प्राणपते आश्रितकल्पलतिका आश्रितकल्पलतिका आपदान्धवा ॐ जय जगदीश हरे मातपिता गुरुदैवमु मरि अन्तयु नीवे स्वामी मरि अन्तयु नीवे नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथ नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथ नागेन्द्राशयन ॐ जय जगदीश हरे ओंकार रूप ओजस्वी हो साई महादेवा सत्य साई महादेवा मंगल आरती अंधुको मंगल आरती अंधुको मंदर गिरिधारी ओम जय जगदीश हरे नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा शांति 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 समस्त लोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्त लोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्त लोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु शांति 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 जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की जय।